All right, I am going to be honest again. I have no idea how this is going to go. Let's bring out producer Taylor for this segment. Would you rather? And fun fact about this, producer Taylor is the one that puts it all together and puts the players and all of their stats and puts together this game. So we're going to have some good conversations. And Taylor, thanks for hopping on out here, pal.
Oh, you betcha. America's favorite producer back. America's sweetheart.
People been talking.
Yeah, America's sweetheart, according to 3 people on Twitter, back in the big chair.
Yep.
We're going to run it down. So in case you weren't here last week, essentially this whole thing is a player comparison, player A, player B. I'm going to give Ben some stats, some awards. Based off of that, he's going to pick one. And then if he picks incorrectly, or maybe the person that we didn't think it was, we're going to talk about it.
Just to be clear, there's no incorrect, or can I be incorrect?
There's no incorrect answer. But last week we did 1 Hall of Famer, 1 non-Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
This week could be 0 Hall of Famers, could be 1, it could be both. Who knows?
And I'm going to take the player I think had the better career.
So, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. So the first iteration we're doing is pitchers. Okay. We're not going to list all the stats for the audio folk, but for the visual folk, you'll have some more. So, player A, 224 wins with a 3.48 ERA.
Okay.
Player B, 270 wins with a 3.68 ERA. And then player A, 1 Cy Young. Player B, 0 Cy Youngs.
0 Cy Youngs.
Yes.
With 270 wins. That's a lot of wins for not a single Cy Young award.
Some would say.
Now, I do know one of my favorite baseball trivia questions is that Nolan Ryan never won a Cy Young award, but he has way more than 271.
A couple no-hitters too.
A lot of no-hitters. Okay.
What stands out to you? What's glaring?
The
What's
270 wins and a 3.68 ERA, I would probably. And strikeouts is pretty close. Caper 9 close as well. If you're watching,
is it
you can
weird
see
that player A has almost 3,000 Ks and such a low win total?
Yeah. So to me, that says player A is going to be maybe a newer, like a more current player because they throw less innings. Because I would take. Oh, that's a lot of strikeouts. I would take player B.
Player B. Do you want to see the stats awards one more time?
Yeah, let me see the awards one more time.
Can we switch it?
6 All-Star games for player
B does have a higher WAR.
Here's what I think. I think player B pitched for a lot longer, is definitely older than player A, and I think the close to the same ERA with a lot more wins, I would take that player. I'd take player B.
So you're taking player B. Any guesses before we reveal?
No, my best guess is that player B is a lot older than player A.
So let's reveal. Player B, Mike Mussina, Hall of Famer. Player A, Zach Greinke.
Wow. Zach Greinke's going to get to 3,000 strikeouts.
Yeah, well, hopefully. You know, he's not exactly piling up the strikeouts.
Do you think Zach Greinke's a Hall of Famer?
I mean, here's my thing, which kind of like stood out to me for this, is that he's almost got 3,000 strikeouts, which is kind of like a marker for the Hall of Fame. He has a Cy Young. Mike Mussina does not. Mike Mussina also played for the Yankees.
Yeah.
Zach Greinke played for some decent teams, but again, for the most part of it, he's playing for Diamondbacks and the Royals, not picking up a lot of wins. So obviously he's not as close to 300 wins that like you'd like
he's on
for a Hall of Famer.
Bad team for
but like if you're telling
career.
me that Zach Greinke, and he's got 6 Gold Gloves, you're telling me that he has more strikeouts and a Cy Young. I just don't understand a world we live in where Zach Greinke is not a Hall of Famer.
Hey, you add on top of that he absolutely rakes, and there's a bunch of silver sluggers in there.
I was going to throw that in there, but I was like, Mike Mussina, he's not.
I think he's a Hall of Famer, but my worry is that the committee that votes for this, in case you haven't heard, votes in a way that I feel like they're going to value wins heavily, though I don't think they should. But you add into account that he's been on bad teams for the majority of his career. You look at those numbers. Zach Greinke's a Hall of Famer. I've
again, another thing about that is I believe Mussina only finished in the top 3 of Cy Young once. He finished second, I believe. Whereas Greinke, obviously, he won his and he finished second. I believe 2015, he lost to Jake Arrieta. And Greinke had a 1.66 ERA for the Dodgers, which was lower than Arrieta, but Arrieta had like 20 plus wins.
I will say, I don't feel bad about picking Mike Mussina, but if Mike Mussina is a Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
then so is Zach